Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Spring Demo Day. I'm Ed Glassman. I think I know most of you here, but for those new faces, I'm the director of the CEL program here at Springside Chestnut Hill Academy. And this is a really exciting day. It's the culmination of 9 weeks of really hard work that's actually still going on at this very moment as our student entrepreneurs put the final touches on their pitches. For some students, this is the culminating moment of their venture. But for others, this is just one step in an ongoing process to launch something that will make a real impact in their community. And in fact, to date, our student entrepreneurs have raised over $10,000 for their various nonprofit ventures in this year alone. Those entrepreneurs, oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Those entrepreneurs include Noah Schaup and Caroline Clark, who are doing 2 ventures to combat pediatric cancer. Annabelle Grove, who's launched a venture called Philly Fit that tries to bring fitness and nutrition education to underserved school districts. And Reka Dillon Richardson, who a few weeks ago hosted her 2nd annual Girls Climate Summit, which is focused on bringing climate change awareness and environmental activism to young women all over the Delaware Valley. The great thing about this program is the ventures that we work on are so much more than just traditional for-profit businesses. They're nonprofit, they're games, they're creative endeavors, they involve technology or sometimes no technology at all. In fact, in the corner over here, when you get a break, check out the work of senior Anna Kane, who spent this spring, her venture was shooting a 360-degree video tour of Springside Chestnut Hill Academy using that GoPro rig that you can see behind you. So if you check out that Mac over there and you click around, you can actually scroll in 360 degrees a tour of our upper school wing of the campus. Those are the types of projects we try to support. This program is really about helping our students unlock their passions, their curiosities, their interests with the help of mentors. And this program is not possible without mentors. You'll hear from each of our mentors before each student presents, but I'd like to first give a round of applause to all of the wonderful mentors who worked with our students this term in the incubator. So if we could have a round of applause for them. So the way this is going to work is that each student is going to give a pitch that lasts about 7 minutes, and then we'll have time for questions. We have a panel of judges, people that serve on our board of directors for the CEL Venture Incubator program, Peter Ernst, Cheryl Winston-Smith, Bob Harries, and Brian McLeland, and hopefully Darius Quarles will be here shortly. Thank you for being here today, guys. I appreciate your time. Speaking of ongoing ventures, thank you. That's great. A few more housekeeping things. Number one, we're streaming all of this live at sch.org/demo day. So if you have friends or family members that couldn't be here in person, send them a text, let them know. They can watch all the presentations at sch.org/demo day. We're also doing a live Twitter feed of all of your questions and photos. So if you're a Twitter user, use the hashtag CEL Demo Day, and we'll keep track of all the questions that you put up on this monitor here and share them with the students after the presentations. Now, a moment ago, I talked about the importance of ongoing ventures and how Demo Day is just one step along the journey for an entrepreneur. There's no better example of that than Ali and Kayla, who last year presented their idea for taking recycled plastic bottles and transforming them into earrings, and have spent this past year taking that idea, that kernel of an idea, and adding elements of 3D printing and 3D design with the help of Mr. Cool. So I really wanted to bring them back to the Demo Day stage to tell you about what they've learned and how their business has really changed over the course of this year. So Ali and Kayla, welcome to the stage. Help us kick off Demo Day.
Hi, I'm Ali. Hi, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Ali.
And welcome to Demo Day. Our product is Bottles to Bling. It is jewelry made out of recycled material. Last year, we noticed how much the recycle was getting filled with plastic bottles. We started this last spring, and we wanted to show you how we changed. We first started with using recycled bottles. We punched shapes into them, and the shapes we punched out, we colored with Sharpies and put them on post with hot glue guns. This was our very first product. We sold it for $10 and we sold 12. So we made $120 last year at the spring demo day.
But we realized that punching shapes into plastic bottles wasn't going to work forever. We changed a lot throughout the year. We went from punching shapes into plastic bottles, like Kayla said, to using a program on our computers called SketchUp to make three-dimensional shapes. We then sent those files to a 3D printer. We then printed those out into three-dimensional shapes for our earrings. These were our very first earrings that we made with our 3D printer.
We learned a lot from our mentor, Mr. Cool. We first learned how to use SketchUp. SketchUp is a computer program where you can design your own 3D models. We send that file to the 3D printer, which is a printer that prints three-dimensional shapes. The printer prints out filament. The filament we'll be using is made out of recycled potato chip bags. Filament is this plastic cord that goes into the 3D printer, and the 3D printer melts and strings out to make our cool design. We ran into some problems though. As you can see in this picture, our layer was too thin, so it created holes in our product. And in this picture, we colored them with markers, and the marker didn't get into the corner very well, so it left it blank. We plan to solve these problems soon.
What we're thinking about continuing with our project is going on to selling it on Etsy. For those of you who don't know, Etsy is a website that allows basically anybody to sell their jewelry that they've made.
Since Bottles to Bling doesn't work for us anymore because we're not using bottles anymore, we're using recycled potato chip bag filament, we need to change our name. So we're going to take a quick vote. Raise your hand if you think that Things to Bling is a great name for us. Thank you. Raise your hand if you think Eco Accessories is a great name for us.
Okay.
Thank you. If you'd like to buy our product, you can email these 2 emails, and we'll put you on our news list, and it will tell you the latest news and when you will be able to buy our product.
Do we have any questions?
I'm interested to know what you think is the major appeal of your product. Is it the price? Is it the design? Is it the fact that you're using eco-friendly materials, or what?
It's mostly us recycling a bunch of plastic and trash and those things. So we don't, basically eco-friendly stuff.
I love how you shared your journey, and I think it really captures the entrepreneurial journey to a T. So I think that, what you started with and learning to pivot at several different points along the way is such a big part of the experience. So just to follow up on Bob's questions, have you done some research into sort of what price you would offer this at, and what sort of demand do you think you'll find in the market once you start listing on SD?
We're probably going to be selling our earrings for around $10.
Sort of like the same as last year, but we think that it sort of is like the same price as last year because we're using like the same materials as sort of last year.
So when you did it last year and you came up with the $10 price, had you done a survey or some market research to figure out if that was a price that would be a good price point to offer this at? Or, how did you come up with the $10 last year?
Well, we did, we sent out a survey to the school about how much, about our name and then about how much people would pay for it. And $10 to $12 was mostly what people said that they would pay. So we just kind of went what people would like better than what we thought was more reasonable.
What a great journey. I'm excited to hear more about where you take this and also see it on all yours in the near future. Have you learned anything about anybody else who's doing something similar, using these eco products for jewelries or things like that? I'd like to learn a little bit more.
Last year we had indirect and direct competitors. I don't really remember the names right now, but they only used like recycled metal or recycled glass.
And they weren't like people who were using like a 3D printer to do their earrings. They were mostly like designing their earrings just by like sort of hand.
Great.
Yeah, girls, how much product can you make, or jewelry can you make in a given, say, a week or a month? Like, how hard is it to actually do the production?
It only takes 7 minutes to make the top of our earring, but when I tried gluing it to one post, it took around an hour. So,
But since like obviously like if you're printing something that's like a lot bigger, it takes like longer. But since these are just like earrings and they're like pretty small, they only take around like 7 minutes. But then like the gluing's like a whole nother factor, and like yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Tough question for our panel. Good job. Okay. Mom, you want to introduce Bernie?
Hello, everyone. I'm Mindy Glassman, and I have the pleasure to introduce a very creative sixth grader, Bernie Matson, who's been committed to helping other creative young people ply their crafts in an easier way, and she's going to tell you all about it. Bernie Matson.
Hello, my name is Bernie Matson, and my CEL VA project is the Photo Bee tutorials. I'm in 6th grade at SCH Academy, and I love art, graphics, and video games. The problem is that Photoshop is hard to use. Photoshop, for those of you who don't know, is a digital application that allows you to edit, alter, and manipulate your own photographs. The problem I face is how hard it is to use. You might be wondering, why am I doing this? Why do people need this? And what's so hard about Adobe Photoshop? This is why. This is the basic setup for Adobe Photoshop CS6, and as you can see, there are already a lot of tools. As you can see here, beneath this brush tool, there is also the pencil tool, the color replacement tool, and the mixer brush tool. And Photoshop just gets more complicated from there. Within every tool, hundreds of more tools pop up, and there are even tools within those. My solution was to build a website for kids with quick and easy demonstrations of the most basic Photoshop tools in a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes. I sent out a survey to the middle school, and I got 84 responses. 65% said that they would use a website for Photoshop. Only 23% said that they might use a website for Photoshop, depending on how well it was made. Here are some of my competitors who had a similar idea to me. And keep in mind that these were just the 3 that I found to be the biggest. I'm sure there's more out there, but they all face a common problem, that they're all experts at Photoshop, but they're not experts at teaching. Number 1 is Adobe Photoshop CC, or Creative Cloud. Adobe Photoshop CC is a website owned by Adobe, and it's made by Adobe experts, so you know the information is correct. The cons are, it's made by the experts for the experts. The information is really complicated and hard to understand. Number 2 is Terry White. He is a YouTuber who makes popular online tutorial videos. And the cons are that the videos are 45 to 30, the videos are 45 to an hour long, and they're not visually interesting. There's no way a kid would have the patience to watch one of those. And number 3 is Flurn. Flurn is a series of YouTube tutorials that are 15 to 30 minutes long. They're cool, educational, and fun. The cons are that the videos are complicated and sometimes a little blurry. It's hard for beginners to understand them unless they watch the entire series because they often refer back to previous episodes. My promise is that I will make a website that both children and adults will be able to use because it'll be simple, easy, and short. My target customers are kids ages 8 to 18, and those are just guidelines. Anyone can use it. And they all face a common problem, that they don't understand Photoshop. I did some research, and I figured out around the exact number of kids who would be able to use my website, and that number is 27,811,540. That's the number of kids ages 10 to 18 with a laptop at home or at school who could possibly use my website. I will reach my customers through word of mouth, email, surveys, demonstrations, and marketing like flyers and posters. Here's a short rough draft video demonstration, and keep in mind that this is just a rough draft. The final product will have better music and a better logo, but this is the kind of stuff that might appear on my website. Hey guys, B here, and I'm going to show you how to use the Adobe Photoshop brush tool in Adobe Photoshop CS6. First thing you want to do is find your brush tool. It's over here, and it looks like a paintbrush, but if you can't find it, you can hover over it, and the name brush tool will appear, as you can see here. If you click and hold, 3 more tools pop up. The pencil tool, the color replacement tool, and the mixer brush tool. But we're just starting with the brush tool. So to start, we're going to get a clean white slate. We're going to go to File, New. And to draw with your brush tool, you simply click to make a dot or click and drag to make a line. If you want to select the color, select your color, click to make a dot, and click and drag to make a line. Up here, in the right and the left-hand side, there is a little drop-down menu. Click on it, and you can select the size or the hardness of your brush. The hardness makes the edges softer if you decrease it. There are also assortments of different brush sizes that will give you different brush strokes. There are also templates, so you can make a blade of grass or even a leaf. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye! That was just a rough draft, but that was the kind of thing that might appear on my website for beginners. In the future, I need to work on more prototype videos, I need to work on my website, and I need to get feedback from you guys to help make the website better. Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Glassman and Mr. Crayer and my wonderful mentor, Mindy Glassman, for helping me make this presentation possible. Mindy, could you please come to the stage? Are there any questions? Great job, Brady.
Great job, Bernie. You did a really nice presentation, and it's an exciting product. I'm wondering if you've thought about how you would price this. Are you going to try to offer it for free or some sort of freemium model?
I'll probably offer it for free. I figured out the cost of like a website, and it's like about $13. So I might price it a little bit at the beginning just to get the website started, and then it'll be free.
And then the competitors that you mentioned, are they free, or it's I guess the YouTube ones would probably be free, but the Adobe one is part of a subscription?
The Adobe one is part of a subscription, yeah.
I thought you did a nice job presenting that. I was sort of pleased when you mentioned adults being a potential customer, and then you took it off on the next slide and said you're just going to target 8 to 18 years old. What happened to the adults? Because I'd like to sign up.
Well, there's not really any guidelines to whatever age, but it'll be sort of more centered around kids, I think.
I'd be interested to know why you think that Photoshop themselves haven't come up with a tutorial like this, since they have the ability to do it and could offer various levels of complexity and difficulty, and from basic to sophisticated tutorials to increase the demand for their services.
Yeah, I was gonna put a second video on like a more complicated side of Photoshop, but I just ran out of time. And
No, I'm sorry. I was asking why you think Photoshop themselves haven't designed a tutorial themselves.
well, mostly they're experts, but they aren't really good at teaching kids. And my website will be for kids by kids, so it'll be easier for kids to understand.
Okay, I guess I won't be a customer. It's for kids by kids.
Hi, Bernie, Darius, how are you? So I want to, instead of asking questions, just really just give feedback that I think will be helpful as you, because I think that you're going to build this out. So this is great, right? Kids will probably be your end user, so they're going to be the ones on the platform. Unfortunately, they probably don't have any money. So you're going to need to market this to parents, right? So as you're creating this platform, I think you have a great competitive advantage in saying for kids by kids, paid for by parents or sponsored by parents. So think about, you know, all of your friends here at SCH. How would you think about marketing to their parents to get them to pay for it? Would it be a $5.99 a month? Would it be pay per tutorial, right? So they just pay it up front, one-time fee, or would they pay monthly of some kind in order to get access to all of the information on the platform? But that's going to be very important. Thinking about who your end user, because you gave us a good number on the market in terms of how many youth are out there who have computers and could access this. But of those 27 million, who actually are you going to target? Are you going after inner city youth? Are you going after youth who go to private high schools or private medical schools? That number is going to have to get narrowed down somewhere to what they call a target market. So that's going to be important. Know who your target market is, and then know who those paying users are going to be, right? Not even paying users, really who's going to pay for the product for the end user to get access to it. And then when you pitch out again, it'll be much more clear how you're going to monetize it.
Bernie, good job. I really liked your tutorial. I thought that was, if you could continue to work with that same type of, like very short and like very lighthearted, I think that you'll reach a lot of kids. You reached me, and I'm kind of a kid too, so that's good. My question is, what have you become most frustrated with during this process?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think just time, basically, like getting things done. Sometimes I just want to relax and tinker with Photoshop, but it's just sort of been go, go, go and get stuff done.
Lots of structure to follow, right?
Yeah.
And what's the greatest takeaway so far? Like, what's the best thing about this whole process for you?
I think that I get to learn how to use Photoshop because I'm not a Photoshop expert at all, but it's fun kind of pretending to be one.
Great job.
Good job. Proud of you, buddy. Good job. Okay, board members, thank you for all those great questions. Darius, welcome. Good to have you. As we get set up, I have the privilege of introducing Carly and Sylvia, whose mentor couldn't be here today, unfortunately, but she did such a great job. Carly and Sylvia are such an amazing example of teamwork in the face of adversity. This is a group that has spent many, many late nights and long hours in the venture incubator space, getting ready for their demo day presentation. Sylvia is a track star, right? A star at this point. Yeah. And as a result, after school every day, she has to go to track meets while Carly joins us in the incubator to learn about competitive analysis and pricing their product and all of those things. So what the girls have had to do in between is come here during lunch and come here during recess and rehearse and practice. And it's been really, really incredible to watch them grow over the course of the last 9 weeks. And I'm excited for you guys to hear about their eco-friendly t-shirt company, which it looks like we're hanging up right now. Very cool. Without further ado, Carly and Sylvia, come up to the stage.
Once there were two girls who loved fashion, photography, and nature. Every day they took beautiful photographs of the outdoors. One day they decided to print their photographs onto their shirts. Because of that, Artemis Wardrobe was born so that all the girls could wear beautiful shirts just like them.
Hello, I'm Carly.
And I'm Sylvia.
We are 7th grade students, and our business idea is an eco-friendly t-shirt company.
We plan to print shirts with photographs we've taken of the natural world.
We both have a passion for photography, fashion, and the earth's beauty.
It seems everything these days is artificial, depletes the world's resources, and is made by workers that are underpaid.
In order to produce a single t-shirt, about 714 gallons of water is used.
We often find that people who care for the environment would also like to be fashionable.
Our mission is to spread the beauty and marvels of the world while making sure that we leave as small of a footprint as possible.
We started out with our love of photography and wanted to spread our vision of nature to a broader audience through a wardrobe staple.
To combat these issues, we will make eco-friendly t-shirts that highlight the beauty of our world. Here's an example, and behind us are some more examples.
In addition, in order to keep our world beautiful, we plan to donate part of our profit to a water charity.
We have chosen Charity Water. It is an organization that brings clean drinking water to everyone.
They funded 19,819 water projects in 24 countries so far.
We plan to donate $1 of our profit for each shirt we sell.
Our target market is girls and women aged 12 to 25.
According to a U.S. census taken in 2014, 51% of the population is female and 23% is under the age of 18.
From this, we can tell that our target market is large, so hopefully we will have many customers. Although there are no companies completely like us, we have found that Be Good Clothing, ModCloth, and Raven and Lily are most similar.
Each of these companies have pros and cons. Be Good Clothing donates 12 gallons of water per shirt per purchase to countries in need. However, it is difficult to find a certain type of product on their website.
ModCloth has an organized website and carries all sizes, but their products are very expensive.
Raven and Lily helps provide jobs for women in developing countries, but their products are extremely expensive and they have a confusing website layout. We took a survey of 92 girls, and the outcome proved that 62% of them are interested in eco-friendly products.
We did not show a picture of our t-shirts or any of our photographs. Still, 29% said that they would definitely buy our product, and 69% said that they were likely to buy our product, but first would like to see an example. We've researched several suppliers, but haven't yet found the right one. We want to ensure that the t-shirts we sell are of the highest quality and made in an eco-friendly way.
The best example to date is Top Banana. If we were to buy 100 completed shirts in bulk, the full charge would be $875, which works out to be $8.75 per shirt. Our survey indicated that 69% of those surveyed would prefer to pay $18 as opposed to $20.
Based off of the survey and Top Banana's pricing, we arrived at a final price of $18 per shirt. Since each shirt cost $8.75, our gross profit is $9.25 per shirt.
We plan to donate $1 per shirt to Charity Matters. This leaves us with a net profit of $8.25 per shirt.
We are a web-based business, so we will not have to worry about the cost of rent and employees.
We have set up a preliminary website on Wix.com. You're welcome to check out our site at this link, although you are not able to purchase items yet.
In order to pursue our venture, we ask your assistance in providing a startup funding of $875.
We would also appreciate help from advisors and connections to clothing manufacturers.
A huge thank you to Mr. Glassman, Mr. Crayer, our parents, and our wonderful mentor, Miss Callie.
We couldn't have done this without you guys. Thank you. This is a list of resources we have used. Also, all of the background images you've seen so far and throughout the slides were taken by us.
You can contact us at esterdano@sch.org.
and cvalen@sch.org.
or our business email, artemiswardrobe@gmail.com.
Thank you. Any questions?
It's very clear what you're doing, and I like the way you presented it. I am interested to know, as a purchaser, would anyone know that I was wearing an eco-friendly shirt? And if not, did you think about adding some sort of slogan or some sort of way in terms of spreading the word over and above the person that makes the purchase?
We haven't yet thought about how people would know that it's an eco-friendly shirt.
Do you think that'd be desirable?
On our sample website, I guess you'd call it, we did say that it's eco-friendly, but I'm not sure everyone would find that on the page.
So next time I see someone walking around with one of your shirts, I won't know whether it's eco-friendly or not.
They may or may not know that
Yeah.
it's eco-friendly.
If they recognize our designs, then they'll know. Because it is. If they recognize our designs, then they'll know because it's said on our website.
We do try and let people know, though. Thank you.
Carly and Sylvia, it's fantastic work. This is really exciting. Having a sustainable mission is part of what's driving you and what's building this business that you're launching off on. I'm interested in learning a little bit more about the conversation you had with Top Banana, and if you asked them about their sustainable mission as well. Is it in line with yours?
Yeah, on their website, we found that they are eco-friendly as well. So that's one of the main reasons we have decided to possibly use them as a manufacturer.
We aren't yet sure though because we didn't really like the fit of the shirts.
Thank you.
You both did a great job, and it's clearly really well thought out and researched, so really good job. One question I have is, have you thought of how you might drive traffic to your website? And I think this relates to Bob's question, how do you make people aware of what you're doing? And if your target market are people who care about the environment and also like fashion, how do you get the word out that you're making these shirts? How do you promote the product? What sort of marketing?
We do have advertisement. We have 2 accounts on Twitter and on Instagram, and we're starting one on Facebook.
Also, we've been telling our friends and family, so it'll also spread by word of mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get them set up.
Hi, I'm Peggy Steele, and I had the great pleasure of working with a team, Angel and Zoe, who took an idea and worked hard at developing it, problem solved. I have to say they did a lot of planning and organizing and learned to work together as a team, which was really quite interesting because they used each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I think that it's an awesome duo, Angel and Zoe.
Hi, my name is Angel. Hello, my name is Zoe. Imagine this. You are a teenager and you are going on a trip abroad. You have no idea what to expect. How do you prepare? We are 2 teenagers who love to travel. We have noticed that we and our friends have been going on more and more trips abroad each year. On these trips, we encounter lots of surprises and problems. So we decided to research online for tips and information on the places we were going to. But we could not find any websites specifically geared to teenagers. To solve the problem, we created Bliss Travel Book. Bliss Travel Book is a website that provides travel information for teenagers from ages 13 to 21. The reason why we are doing a website specifically for teenagers is because there are many websites for adult travelers, but none for travel teenagers. Teenagers pack differently, eat differently, and go to different places from adults. This is the homepage of our website. We're just going to click on Find a Destination.
Here we have map, and we choose Australia for our first destination. It's because we interviewed some teenagers from Australia and some teenagers who've been to Australia. So we got some idea what teen needs to prepare if they are going there. Thank you. So here we have 9 blocks. We have start here, food, where to go, packing, activities, trip planning, things you need to know, culture, and community service. Our target customers are again teenagers from age 13 to 21. They can be looking for travel guides because they are traveling abroad, or they just love traveling and want to know more about certain countries.
According to BBC, 1.15 million American teenagers travel abroad each year, and this number is still increasing by 12% each year.
We couldn't find any website that provides travel guides specifically for teenagers. Blessed Travel Book is made by teenagers for teenagers. Also, we are a free online resource, so people don't need to pay anything to visit our website.
However, we do still have competitors out there. On the top, we have That Backpacker. That Backpacker is created by a backpacker who travels around the world and blogs about her daily experiences. However, this website does not have specific facts about travel guidance, like Bliss Travel Book will provide.
On the left side, we have Alex in Wonderland. This website has a really nice layout and detailed journals. However, Alex in Wonderland only provides travel guides for a few countries. Bliss Travel Book will certainly be providing more travel guides for more countries in the future. On the right side, we have That Savvy Backpacker. That Savvy Backpacker has the most detailed travel guides for many countries. However, it is really hard to find what you need on that website. Blessed Travel Book will provide our customers a clean, nice layout where they can find anything they need in place. For marketing strategies, we can use social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to promote our website. We can also affiliate with other travel bloggers and travel websites to get viewers from them. Another good way for marketing is to work with global travel programs in schools and teen travel companies and organizations.
Because Bliss Travel Book is a website, we have to pay for the domain name and the premium template. Other costs include the Instagram campaign and, of course, labor costs.
How can we make money? Loyal followers and viewers bring us to advertising opportunities. If we can get 1,000 unique visitors per day, we can start making money by posting ads on our website.
In the future, we will be adding more content to other countries on our website. We will also start promoting our website and make a YouTube channel.
Special thanks to Mr. Glassman, Mr. Crayer, our mentor Peggy Steele, and presentation slides template, Slides Carnival.
And we would like to ask Ms. Peggy Steele to come up on the stage for a special thanks. We would also like to ask Mr. Crayer and Mr. Glassman to come up on the stage for a special present.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you.
These are... Okay.
Okay, we got it. Thank you so much.
These are from my
Thanks,
chickens,
guys.
and they're organic and free-range eggs. And the chickens are from Chile, so the eggs are blue. And a lot of the questions we get are the yolks blue, but they're not. So just okay. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. What type of companies do you think will advertise on your site?
We think, first of all, other travel bloggers or travel companies might, and many teenage travel companies, like I think there's a travel organization called Teens Travel, And maybe other companies, like if they sell something related to travel, like suitcases or backpacks, some companies like that.
Also, another example is Putney is also another travel website that might advertise us.
I have a question in terms of your target market. By the way, great job and really nice idea and presentation.
Thank you.
In terms of your target market, it strikes me that on the one end, 13-year-olds are traveling primarily either with families or potentially as part of a teen tour, and there's not a lot of autonomous decision making in terms of what they do relative to your other end, which is 21-year-olds, where it's a very different universe for travel. And so I'm curious how you decided on that particular age swath and whether you might think about dividing it a little bit differently.
We will be dividing it a little bit differently, maybe for younger ages to older ages, but on trips abroad, I've noticed lots of 13-year-olds there, and they do a lot of the same things and enjoy a lot of the same activities, so we figured that they should be included in our target range.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I'm wondering whether you've done some calculations in terms of how much time that you're going to spend on each of these countries. I mean, picking my favorite country, Australia, which you started on, how much time do you think you're going to need to actually develop enough information that's going to be able to attract the sort of advertising you want so you can get some revenues? Because I'd be concerned that it's going to take a lot more time than you think. And then you go country by country and adding it on. So I just wondered how much thought and calculation you've done around how much time to develop a website for a country that will attract sufficient folks to generate the possibility of advertising.
Yeah. So we've been writing these articles. I hate to call them articles because we are not writing like pages of words, but we've been working on our website ourselves. But later on, maybe if we set up several countries, we can get people, maybe our friends or some viewers, to write something for us, and we can post them on our website as our information.
And we've already begun to write a lot of content for our website.
Yeah.
And how much time would you think it would take to cover Australia in a manner that could attract enough people to advertise stuff?
Yeah, it depends on how hard we work, but really, I think in a month we can get 1 or 2 countries set up, and maybe if we can get some help from our friends or families, we can get pretty much 3 or 4 countries set up in a month. Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent presentation. I love the product. When I was coming out of college, I actually had an idea to do something similar for college students. So I know there's feasibility around this. There's a need. If you can create a great product, you can definitely attract the visitorship. I'm concerned with how you're going to monetize off of that visitorship. I think once you build this is something that's interesting enough where if you build it, they actually will come. But will you be able to monetize off those people who are coming to the site? You made a big assumption in this presentation, which is that if we get them, we can definitely do ads. I wouldn't say I don't think that's something you want to just rest on and think is true. Working with brands that will potentially, that's why I think it was a great initial question, who would be advertising on your platform? Think about the brands who would want to get to your target market. So those 18 to 21-year-olds, what product placement could you potentially do? I would even say that think about how you could generate revenue tomorrow with this platform would be a great question. So when you do have the opportunity to sit down next time with your mentor, Peggy, like poke her with that question. Like if we wanted to generate revenue next week, how could we do it? Because you're not going to be able to do it off ads. You're going to have to think of innovative ways to do that. But I think it's very possible. The next thing is once you have those ideas about generating revenue, I would encourage you to start sitting down and having in-depth interviews with who's going to be the user of your platform. So you know that you all have had this pain point, but how many interviews have you had with other people who are experiencing the same problem? I'm 14, going with my parents to travel to this new country. I want to find out about things to do. I would encourage you all to really understand the psychology of the person who's going to be coming to your site. That's going to help you learn how to create great content for them. And then by having that great content, how you monetize off that content.
Thank you. In terms of information, we kind of want to rely on people from that country and people who've traveled to that country. So our original idea is that we interview some teenagers who are native from that country, and then we interview some other teenagers who've been to that country, so we can get two sort of opinions, like one is from the local teenagers and one is from people who've traveled to that country.
We also will be researching a lot on the country, and we will be checking our sources with the crowd test.
Great job. Xiaobin, this is for you. Why don't you introduce him while we get him set up? Come on.
Hi, my name is Xiaobin Song. I would say Fred had a very good idea, and I think his project has a potential to success. And with more passion, action, and of course, money invested in his project, I think he will success. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm really nervous right now since I didn't pack any gifts for Mr. Glassman and Mr. Crayer. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this CEL Demo Day. I'm going to start my presentation with introduction of myself. So my name is Fred Lee. I'm a sophomore at the SEH Academy, and I'm an international student. I am originated from China. And there's a lot of things I love about America, especially the food. Now I'm going to tell you guys a story about related to food. So I had this friend of mine who goes to University of Pennsylvania. Well, she's a college student. She, one day after her 2-hour lecture just ended, she has to go somewhere to get some food. And so she decided, where should I go? I don't have enough money. Maybe I'll just go to a food truck and get some food. And then by the time she gets there, there's already more than 30 people waiting at the food truck. Well, it's miserable, but it's her only option, so she can only wait. Well, 40 minutes later, class already started for 10 minutes, she finally got her food. So she walked, she ran all the way back to her class, ending up writing a 2-page essay. Now, we've seen a problem here, because this doesn't happen only just once. It happens on a daily basis, students missing class, being late for class, just because that they're waiting for too long at the food truck trying to get food. So the problem, just like I just mentioned, is the wait. On average, a student at University of Pennsylvania wait for around 30 minutes just to get lunch from a food truck. And we think to ourselves, this is 21st century. Everyone is using everything. Everyone's doing everything on their phone. Everything's digitalized. There's got to be an easier way to do this. So we give it a thought. There's got to be an app, right, that allows students to order food in advance, and so the food truck driver could prepare for them, and they don't have to wait. And also, it's going to do something good for the drivers, the operators as well, so that they will use our app. And that's why we came up with the idea, the food truck app. Now, I'm going to introduce the app. It's going to be really easy to use. Well, first, what you do, you go up to your phone, open the app, you select the time, select the food, select the truck you want, and order the food. And secondly, once the driver accepts your order, he's going to make the food, prepare the food for you. So by the time you go to the truck, the food is going to be ready. All you have to do is pick up the food and no wait. Bam. I'm smart, right? And now let's take a look at some of our prototypes of the food truck app. So this is the home screen. You have many options. You can sign in, or you can just sign in as a one-time user, which is not cool. Or you can also use social media's accounts to sign in. And then you have this map. Just like Uber, you get to see all the food trucks around you, and you can decide which one you want to eat. Now, if you tap on any of those icons, a little information session is going to pop up. It's going to be some brief information, the type of the food, what time it's going to be available, and the star ratings. And now, if you're really interested in that food, click on the Order Now button right here. And then you can see the menu. Now, after deciding what food you want to eat, you go to the payment page. And here you can decide whether to pay by cash or credit card. And after payment, or even before payment if you really want, you can share all this information on social media. Well, enough about the students. Now let's take a look at our operator side. You see, for food truck operators, they really have a really flexible work period and a flexible working location. So a really good function for them to have is the on and off button. So that's why we have this little, I don't know how to point with this little button up top. You can select to turn off, turn on, and turn off. When it's turned on, you automatically accept order from new customers. When it's turned off, you don't have to accept any order. So let's say you already have 50 orders to make, you turn off the button. Let's say you don't want to work today, you turn off the button. See, how simple is that? And lastly, we have this weekly order page for operators to use. It's just like a school report card to send you. Well, on top, it's going to tell you, oh, you sold 300 orders of chicken last week. And in the bottom part, there's going to be graph and data analysis for all these orders. It's going to list out during what time your orders are sold, what kind of customers got your orders, and what was your favorite order, and what location should you sell your order in the future. And with these amazing functions, I believe we're going to increase and help these food truck operators improve their revenue by a lot. Now, let's talk about money. Let's get real here. How are we going to make money? Well, easy. We're going to charge 10% of each order that a customer paid. So if you get an order of $10, we're going to charge you with $1. If you get an order of $5, we're going to charge you 50 cents. Out of the 50 students we interviewed, 80% of them are willing to pay extra 10% just to save 30 minutes of time every day. Well, let's take a look at our revenue, the money that we can make. So let's make some assumptions here. So one truck has 200 orders per day, and 10% of orders come through our app. So the annual revenue, after some math, it's going to be $4,500. Well, there's 61 trucks at University of Pennsylvania. I'm not really confident, so let's say we could only get 60 of them to use our app. So we're going to make $270,000. That's how much we're going to make if we could get hands on all the food trucks in the University of Pennsylvania area. And now, let's take a look at our potential market. 3 million food trucks inside the United States. Well, we can make $13.5 billion. So if you guys are still hesitating, deciding whether it's a good business or not, it is $13.5 billion. That's how much money you and I are going to be making in the future. Yeah, see, this is how much are you going to make. I'm really proud of this slide, by the way. Now let's take a look at our competitors. Well, first up, we have Yelp and Grubhub. Caviar and Grubhub. These two are really huge business in the food delivery industries. Well, they focus on different qualities, different types of food, and good quality of the food, but they don't really have a good quality of the delivery speed. Sometimes when I order food using Grubhub at my house, it tells me estimate wait time 60 minutes. 90 minutes later, a guy shows up to my door. Here, your food is here. I just go up to the door. Well, I'm at home, so I can afford that extra 30 minutes. Imagine if there's a student in a university, his class is going to start in 20 minutes. He just ordered food, and the driver, delivery guy, just told him, oh, your order's going to be 60 minutes late. Sorry about that. What can you do? Well, he can't skip class, or he's not going to get lunch. So it's really bad situation for the students. So that's why they should use our app to get food and make sure they're going to get their food in a more stable way. And let's take a look at Yelp. Yelp is a really good business, a review business. However, it does not offer the food truck operators with flexible work period or flexible work, locations that we offer. So that's why the food truck operators are not going to be willing to work with them. They're not going to get any extra revenues using Yelp. So why use Yelp when you can use our app? And now let's talk about what we need. $28,000 is what I asked from you, amazing venture capitalists. $25,000 is going to be the cost for the app development, and $3,000 is going to be the maintenance cost of our server for the first year. And special thanks to my team. Here I have Carrie, my mentor at University of Pennsylvania, who also shared a story about the terrible experience at the food truck. And also Mr. Glassman, Mr. Crayer, beautiful pictures. Amazing teachers at CEL, and also Mr. Xiaobing, my mentor at CEL, also helped me a lot during the CEL process. And me, most important guy on the team, that's why I'm in the middle. And just before the end of the presentation, I really want to share something, the true incentive on my presentation. You see, the reason why I'm doing this business, it's not all about money. It's about the responsibility. It's about the people that I care of. You see, all these food truck drivers, all these food truck operators, when I interview them, they tell me a story. They work 12 hours a day, every day, in the same small location, same small space, just struggling to get as much revenue as possible. Well, there's so many big companies out there that could help them with their business, but no one's ever done that. Why not? Because they cannot make enough money. That's why big businesses like Yelp were not willing to work in these food truck industry. And what about those students? Students who cannot afford everyday lunch at a restaurant. Seems like food truck is their only option. However, this option is really miserable for them. They have to suffer every day, 30 minutes. Well, when it's in spring, autumn, it's fine. When it's in summer, 90 degrees outside, oh, you have to stand for 30 minutes and sweat all over. And if it's in winter, it's even worse. You can't even have your hands out of your pocket, right? Well, so I gave myself a lesson. Hey, listen, Fred, you see a problem here, and you gotta solve it because you care about all these people. So I talked to myself, no matter how much money, how much time, how much energy you're gonna spend on this project, you've gotta do it. Because the reason I'm doing this is because I care about these people, not the money. Thank you.
Fred, good job.
I know. Thank you.
So I have a question. So if I understand correctly, you'll develop an app. So I have an app on my phone, and I want to go order something from a particular favorite truck of mine, and I want to make sure that it's ready. So I'm going to order it ahead of time, and I'm going to pay for it ahead of time, which then makes sure that the operator gets paid whether I show up or not. So I get busy doing something else. The operator still gets the money if I don't show up to pick up my food, correct?
Well, yes, because
Okay.
we have to protect the food
Okay.
of the operators. They can't
Gotcha.
just waste the food. Yeah, as for the cash option, you pay when you get there. That's how the cash option is going to work. Oh, I haven't thought of that. Maybe I should have like some protection for the food truck operators.
Yeah.
I haven't thought of that, to be honest, but maybe.
So-
What if we give them an insurance?
Well, you could
thing?
start with the credit only, so you're not doing cash at first. Maybe that's the way you would, let's see how it works first. My question, I guess, is, so I'm the user. I paid you, or I paid the truck. What happens if my food is not ready on time?
Well, for the first time, definitely give him a 1-star, so people will not go to the store anymore.
Okay, so it's like a ranking system,
Mhm,
basically?
yeah.
Okay. And you might also think about giving a different price depending upon when the food is, like if you pick up food during an off-peak time, is the price maybe a little less, and that way it keeps the food truck operator busy during off-peak hours. And it's a motivation for them to get additional business, and motivation for you. Maybe I'm going to pick up my food before my class, and then I have food after class. So just something to think about.
Just like Uber, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Fred, I like you a lot, man. Appreciate your confidence. I think it's very important to have that.
Thank you.
My points to help make this presentation stronger when you do go out to pitch this for bigger money. Make sure the competitive analysis. I know you included the larger players, which is great to hear those names because it's familiar to all of us. But something about this idea makes me think that there are smaller players out there who have honed in to what the problem you've already addressed, right? Because it is a huge market out there, and the popularity of food trucks is so on the rise that there are other smaller players that you may not know about yet who are trying to do this same thing. You would probably have to either beat them to the market, or once you get to the market, you have a product that's so good that it doesn't matter if they got to market first. So that's going to be very important, your competitive analysis, right? On the target customer end, I think it's very important that you did direct interviews with the food truck operators, right? And you got that direct feedback. Continue to do that as much as possible. They're really going to help you create the best product, right? Getting that in-depth information So much to the extent that, this summer is coming up. You might have a lot of time on your hands. I would say take a few days to just shadow them, right? Not asking questions, right? Not one-on-one, but just looking at what their day looks like, looking at how they operate with customers, how they exchange money, whether they're exchanging cash or credit card, just to see, you can dock a number of hours to where you can really just profile the entire experience for the food truck operator, and then do the same with that student on the UPenn campus or whatever campus, right? Really understanding and honing in what those pain points are, because that's gonna be how you're gonna create this great product on the end. And it doesn't, when you debut, it doesn't have to be the hi-fi product. It can really be low-fi as long as it does exactly what you need it to do at the end of the day, meaning doing what they tell you they want it to do. So those are my points.
Thank you.
I think we have to move on, but Fred, wonderful job.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Just before Kramer starts, I want to please ask Mr. Shelving to come up. I have a present for him. And also, I just found these amazing tea bags, Lipton tea bags for Mr. Glassman and Mr. Crayer.
I'll take care of that. We'll get you set up. Yeah, I'll take care of it.
All right.
Hey, everybody. I have the pleasure of introducing our next student entrepreneur, Andrew Kramer. I am certain that you'll quickly recognize that Andrew's passion, motivation, and diligence are unparalleled. Throughout this 10-week CEL experience, Andrew has built his creative problem solving and critical thinking skills. Meanwhile, he's developed some really important technical skills coinciding with the development and the design of his amazing app. I also wanted to share, my fellow mentor is in the crowd, Mr. Craig Johnson. He also was heavily involved with the development of Andrew's app.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrew Kramer, and I'm a sophomore here at Springside Chestnut Hill Academy, and I'm the CEO and founder of Amuse, a captivating mobile app that quickly connects users to compelling activities nearby. In today's world, people use applications to connect them to whatever they desire. Whether somebody is using Uber to find transportation, Tinder to find a date, or Amazon to find whatever, people need this kind of simple, fast, and reliable technology. However, there's nothing simple, fast, and reliable to connect users to activities around them that they would enjoy. Yes, there are complicated activity finders out there, such as Yelp and TripAdvisor. However, in order to use these applications, one must know exactly what they're looking for. And that's not always so easy to do, especially if you're in an unfamiliar area or just don't know what you're looking for. Also, these applications are very difficult to navigate and hard to use. The solution is a free mobile app named Amuse that will quickly connect users to activities around them based on their specific interests and how they're feeling at the time. Amuse will use fun and interactive filtering processes to quickly locate these activities and display them on a screen. The target market for this app is people from ages 14 to 25, typically being high school students, college students, and tourists and travelers. This group of people commonly use technology and frequently download mobile apps on their devices. So I was able to develop a prototype on my phone, and I will walk you through the effortless process of how Amuse would actually work. One second. It says it's on. Okay. Alrighty. So currently this app is on my phone right now through a prototyping version called Proto.io. And as you open the app, this is the first screen we'll take you to. As you can see, you don't have to sign in and there's no long questions. You just download the app and you're ready to go. You can also link with Facebook and Google Plus to further publicize our app and share with friends what activities you found. So first, I'm going to press Get Started, and that'll bring you to a one-time questioning page. These questions only appear once in order for us to collect demographic information on our users. So you can swipe through them, answer your gender, your age, and your zip code. And next is the short and interactive filtering process, where you use sliders to tell the app what your general price range is, as well as how far you're willing to travel. Along with these interactive bubbles, as you can see, the more times you press the bubble, they increase in size, which signifies your interest in doing activity of that genre. So I'm going to select active and casual. And next is a more filtering option for users who have a better idea of what kind of activity they're looking for. However, not all users know this, so this is very helpful for people who have a general idea of what they want to do. So I'm going to click sports, extreme sports, and entertainment. And next is the swipe process. As you see, an activity will be displayed that's based on your filtering process. And you would swipe right if you're interested in that kind of activity, and left if not, which tells the app, if you swipe right, the app will bring up activities like the one you swiped for. So for example, if I swipe right for ice skating, it will bring up more activities like ice skating. You can also swipe up for more information, such as maps, website information, and reviews. So as you're swiping through the activities, you swipe through enough activities until you realize that you've gotten enough activities you've liked, and you'd press done, which brings you to your interactive liked list. And these are all the activities that you've shown interest for. From there, you can then click on the activity once more to find more information again. And it also reminds you of all the activities you've shown interest for. And it's as simple as that. You'd press done, you go back to start, and that's how the app works. So you might be wondering, how does an app like this find its information, display its data, and sort through all the categories such as the genre of the activity, the prices, the reviews? In order to do that, I will have to use an API, which is an application program interface. Specifically, I will be using the Yelp 2.0 API, which is able to take information from the Yelp database and sort through them through the ratings, reviews, their distance from the user, and many more filtering processes. As you saw on the general questioning page, the user has to answer information such as what kind of activity they're looking for, their price range, and how far they're willing to travel, which allows the app to generate more specific ideas of what kind of activities the user would like to do. And the swipe process is a fun and interactive way to quickly sort through these many compelling activities. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm using a process called collaborative filtering, which picks up on the user's past decisions in order to better suggest activities that the user would like. For example, if a user swipes right for an activity like rock climbing, the app will suggest more extreme sports activities, rather than if a user swipes left for an activity like a water park, it will no longer suggest outdoor water-related activities. I talked to Mike Littman, a professional app developer, and we learned of the 3 ways I could get this app developed. I'm not a coder, so I will not be able to develop this app myself, so I'm looking to completely outsource it. I'm looking to get it made by an experienced professional in order to get the best version of this app in the shortest amount of time, which will cost about $2,200. However, aside from the initial development fee, there's only a $100 cost, an annual cost to put this on the iOS App Store, and a $30 cost to put this on the Android App Store if I look to expand to that market as well. The market for this app is huge and is increasingly expanding. As you can see from this chart, just in the past 5 years, app downloads have increased by 97 billion and are going to continue to increase this rate. Apple, the iOS market in Apple has a strong grasp on the teenage community. As you can see, 66% of teenagers already own an iPhone, and 73% have signified that an iPhone will be the next mobile device they purchase. I have millions of potential customers with millions of potential downloads. My goal for the first year this app is released is to obtain downloads and obtain users. As you saw on the first page of my app, the app collects demographic information on their user, such as their age, their zip code, and their gender. I will later use this information to sell to potential businesses so they can advertise on my app. Aside from advertisements, which will be my main revenue stream, I'm also looking at freemiums too. Freemiums are premium options the user must pay for. An example of a freemium option for this app would be the access to unlimited reviews and the ability to book arrangements straight from this software. I will start by marketing this app in 2 different ways. First, being social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which are very prevalent among my target market. Also, I will look to market this through the word of mouth. The more people I can get talking about this app, the more money I can make and the more users I will get. Once I develop a steady revenue stream, I will look to get website ads as well. As I mentioned earlier, there are a couple of direct competitors, such as Yelp and TripAdvisor, and a few other travel-related apps, such as Viator and Nudge. However, these apps are very difficult to use and are not as simple as Amuse, which you can download without any profiles, without any sign-ins, and just start using immediately. Through a couple swipes and a couple filtering options, you will be able to get a list of activities that you would enjoy. In addition, most of these apps out there on the App Store only suggest time-sensitive events and gatherings rather than actual activities like mini golf, water skiing, you name it, and Amuse can find it. So what do I need from you? I'm looking for $2,500 to cover the initial development fees for this app. With your help, we can get this app on the App Store and get it developed. Thank you very much.
Andrew, great journey. This is really exciting. I just assumed download it and go have some fun. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. I think this has some life to it. I have a question about where the information comes from. At one point, I thought I heard you say that your app would parse what's on Yelp, and then you referred to Yelp as a competitor. How does someone who has an event make sure that it ends up coming up on the app?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, there are APIs, and Yelp, big companies such as Yelp and Facebook and Google, they have APIs which they have millions of activities, not just activities, but doctor's offices, parking garages, all in a huge database. And I will be able to access the Yelp database in order to pull these activities. But Yelp also has, it's not only activities, they have everything. But Yelp has a public API, which I won't have to pay for, which you can directly grab information from their database because I won't be able to create my own database. Just at first, for the first version, I will be using the Yelp API, but hopefully I can look to expand to a Google Places API and a Facebook API in order to develop more activities, but that just becomes a problem because it becomes harder to sort through.
And that group of competitors, are they all parsing the Yelp API?
Currently, no. I know, obviously, Yelp uses their own API. However, I'm not familiar with what these smaller apps use, whether they're manually entered or they use Facebook APIs. But to start, I'll need one API. And then as I find a developer and find help, I can hopefully expand to multiple APIs to get more activities and more filtering.
I had a similar concern. I really appreciate your energy and your enthusiasm, which is great, very contagious. Not sure how you got the name Amuse. It sounds like Discover more than Amuse.
Thank you.
But building on this same point that Peter made, how is this going to be simpler than someone going directly to Yelp and putting in their own demographics and coming up with the same information you're accessing for and you're expecting people to pay for and or advertise at?
Well, like I said, on Yelp, most of the time people go on Yelp to find places around them when they already know what they're looking for. So you can, if you know you want to go paintballing, you'll type in a paintball place and it'll give you a list of them around you. However, not everybody knows what they want to do, especially if they're in an unfamiliar area. Let's say you're visiting a friend at a college and you have 2 hours of downtime and you're looking for some place to go. This app will, and you really don't know the area, you don't know what you're looking for. You could want to do anything ranging from a community center to paintball to whatever you can find around you. Then that's when you use this app. You'll go on, you'll download it, no sign-ins, no profiles, and quickly you can develop a list of things around you that you might want to do.
But couldn't Yelp easily design a front-end piece which would do exactly the same thing that you're doing?
That's a good question, but hopefully I can do it first.
Well, and protect it.
Yes, of course.
Because if you're successful, they could copy you and preempt you, couldn't they?
Well, yeah, they could buy me as well, and that will hopefully be an option that will be in the future. Yes, of course.
So thinking along those lines, I think you're going to easily get this $3,000 that you need to build this out.
Thank you.
My concern is that once you get that $3,000, do you really understand the pain points of the person the user who's going to be using it? You spent a lot of time on, telling us about the product, and of course you're going to get a 5 out of 5 on the solution piece of this. But beyond that, you didn't address specifically like what is the profile of the person who's using this product, because you specifically said it's not necessarily the Yelp user who doesn't know what they want to do, right? This is for somebody who's looking for activities, they're bored, right? I didn't really hear that language. It's going to be very important for you to, once you get that fund, to know exactly who you're developing this for, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is to begin talking to people. So directly, one-on-one interviews with folks who you think would be your target customer. That's the first thing. The next thing is on your market sizing, you said that general app downloads are going up, as opposed to giving the investor, because that's general research that anybody can find. What you really want to parse down is this specific type of app, like there's greater demand for this specific type of thing, right? People are looking for activities to do, like people are downloading these type of apps, month over month, it's going up. That's the data you want to eventually get. I don't actually think Yelp or any of those big names that you gave are your competition. They've clearly kind of said that this isn't their space. You really want to, again, do the research, and this was a point to the last presenter as well. Who are the smaller players that are really honing it? Somebody's doing this already, right? You need those names, and you need to know what type of user interface they're doing. You aren't the first one for this specific thing, but I think you can be better than those people who are doing it, right? So Yelp, you already said that Yelp isn't the competitor. Just because it's a big name and everybody knows it, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to throw it out on the presentation. So those would be my points. I think you're going to do great with this once you get those funds, but make sure when you get that money, you don't waste it. And I think these are points that you
And just to answer a question from before, a little more about like the target market. Just a couple facts I wasn't able to throw in during the presentation, but 56% of users who have iPhones commonly use their phones to actually find things to do or help them with boredom. So when you go into that, and 18% of them do it frequently. So just from the high number of people who already have iPhones, even 18% of them would still be a huge market for an app like this.
Great job. Thanks so much.
Awesome, thank you.
Robin, do you want to come up here and introduce Medora?
Hello, everybody. I'm Robin Bandora, and I am pleased to work with Medora here. I'm also an SEH parent, and I'm a business owner, and I'm just thrilled with this project and how the students are able to start thinking about something that they can create to call their own, as I did at one point in my life. So I'm also a dance enthusiast, and this project speaks near and dear to my heart, as I am a mom of a crazy busy dancer, and so we're looking to do something to make life a little bit easier for dancers. So without hesitation, I present Medora Middleton. Thanks.
Hi, so I'm Medora Middleton, and I'm a junior here at Springside Chestnut Hill Academy, and I've been dancing for about 13 years, but I realized that there was a problem in the dance world. Dancers are too busy and too stressed to get all the supplies that they need. So I think the solution to this is a convenient and consistent box sent to the dancer's house every 2 months with the supplies that they need. A dancer subscribes to a point box, they choose which box fits their needs best, and the box is mailed to their house every 2 months. Now when I say they choose a box that fits their needs best, there's 2 different sizes, a large and a small, and I'll talk specifically about the difference later. But in general, here are the types of things that are going to be in each box. There are snacks for quick and easy energy, hair nets for the perfect ballet bun, and Epsom salt for fun, nice, calming dance care. So the target customer is someone like myself, a 13 to 18-year-old female ballet dancer. And I realized that the target customer was someone like myself because it's a service that I wanted. But just because I wanted it didn't mean everyone did. So I held a focus group of about 8 dancers, and I brought them here on a Sunday afternoon, and I asked them some questions about the service. 2 of my biggest takeaways was 1, dancers wanted less snacks and more substance things, and 2, they weren't really willing to pay more than $60 for the larger box and $25 for the smaller one. Now, although I just brought 8 dancers here, the market potential is huge. 45% of a $2.4 billion industry is the kind of audience I'm trying to get. Now, to go back a little bit, the difference between the 2 boxes. So the larger one has a stitch kit and some apparel, and twice the amount of snacks as the smaller one. And the smaller one doesn't have apparel nor a stitch kit, but has stretch ribbon. The smaller one is about $13 to make, and I would charge $25 for the smaller one, and the larger one is about $45 to make, and I would charge $55. Now this compares to other subscription box services. Birchbox and Ipsy charge about $10 a month, and Roxbox charges about $20 a month.
Now, although I don't have direct competitors, it's important to note what other services are charging for the same kind of service that I am. So I'd like to give a big shout out to my mentor, Robin Bandora. She has really helped me a lot with this venture, and I've been so grateful to work with her. Now, for my sample boxes, I wasn't able to buy a lot of the products at a wholesale price. So I would hope that you could put me in contact with some wholesale distributors, and I would be able to cheapen the cost of these boxes. Thank you, and I can answer any questions.
Do we have any questions? Oh, that's loud. Do we have any questions from the audience for this one? Questions or comments from the audience? Oh, okay.
Hi. So I used to dance, and I remember how frequently ballet shoes break down. Did you ever consider including shoes or other materials that could help lengthen the life of ballet shoes, which I know die quickly?
Yeah, so I did consider shoes, but the problem was it was just too expensive to try and get everyone's personal preference. So something that I would accommodate is maybe have jet glue in the box just for point shoes. It helps them last longer. So although I couldn't put shoes in there, some things to maintain them is something that I could be able to do.
Other questions? D? There you go.
So you are a junior here. You are how old?
I'm 17.
Wow, that's amazing. Because it's people who are 45 and plus who have never come up with an idea that's good. So it's great when you can see a problem in your own life and then see how that can be scaled up to help other people. I was a dancer in high school. Can you tell? No. Ballet dancer, actually. And so I know this is a problem, again, and I think you can start making money from this before you graduate here, right? In order to do that, though, I think one of the things you can definitely go back and do is you did a focus group. That's definitely a great way to gather information. I would love to see you do one-on-one interviews with people. So if you're a dancer, then that means you know a ton of other dancers. Sit down with them, sit down with their moms, right? Because the moms are the ones dropping them off at dance practice and doing all this, and really hone in on what they would be willing to pay for, why they would be willing to pay for it, because you may quickly find that you don't need all of the items in that box. And I'm not saying you don't want to put as many items as you can in the box, but it may be a way for you to cut down your margins to where it's feasible for you to then make these boxes at scale. Because it wasn't clear to me, and that most likely means it wasn't clear to everybody, is this gonna be a subscription service box, or is this gonna be a one-time deal? Because in order for it to be a subscription service, then you're gonna have to definitely make something that they're gonna want each month and renewed each month. So knowing exactly what products to include is gonna be very important. And I think the way you do that are those one-on-one interviews with the moms, potentially the fathers as well, and the dancers themselves. Knowing, I think you can also go dig deeper into what the products of your your competitors look like. So what is the Birchbox model? What type of products do they use? Why are people interested in getting it monthly? That'll assist you in doing a lot of this, because we probably don't have do we have a little bit of time? How deep can I go right now? Okay, excellent. On the financial feasibility side, I think that's going to be very important. Your margins are going to be the make or break for the feasibility of this business. So understanding what products are very key, and if you don't have them, nobody's going to want to buy, versus the products that are just kind of nice to haves, but not necessarily extremely key to making this sale.
To go off of that, I did invite parents to the focus group. And a lot of them had the same things to say as the kids. And although the kids wanted half the amount of snacks, the parents kind of wanted more because they're the ones that have to go out and buy things. So that's why I didn't just cut it out completely. I just lessened the amount that was put in there, just to go off of what you were saying.
Have you sold any of these yet?
No, I have not.
When do you plan to start selling?
As soon as possible, but these are the only two I have right now. So.
As soon as possible, what would you need to make that happen? Next school year, you have this summer to think about ideation and all this stuff, that you could start selling your entire senior year and seeing what traction you can get while you're still in school and all these young ladies are still in your vicinity.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You guys should exchange email addresses, especially if you have the experience dancing. Okay, awesome. Great job, Medora.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Hudson is a very talented young man. He's very bright, very perceptive, passionate about his idea. And he had the good fortune of two of us, Joe and I, and thank you, Joe, for also mentoring him. And I think his idea is good. It's got legs, and most importantly, I think I had a lot of fun just participating in this whole process. So over to you, Hudson.
All right, hello. 1 second while I get this set up. Great, hi. So my name is Hudson Smith, and by the end of this presentation, I want to change the way that you think about buying dog food. So I'm a student here at SCH, and I love automated services. I want to fully automate the process of buying dog food using information about my customers to create a custom-tailored meal plan for their dogs, saving them time and money. So I love dogs, but I don't love buying dog food. Navigating the dog food market is like finding your way out of a huge maze, and there are so many brands. They all have different serving sizes for different dogs. Because of this, dogs are at risk of being overfed, and canine obesity is a serious problem that can decrease the lifespan of your best friend. So some people don't have time to think about how to feed their dog and don't want numerous expensive visits to a vet that instructs them how to do so. So why pet food? There are 3 reasons that I decided to create Labrador Delivery. David, Mike, and Joan. Now, they're not real people, but here we go. David has worked very hard, and he's enjoying his retirement with his best friend. He loves his dog, but he has a hard time getting to the store and buying pet food. He has limited knowledge of technology and would benefit from a simple service that meets his needs. Mike is a young guy, and he doesn't have a lot of time to think about feeding his dog. He's constantly searching the internet for ways to automate, optimize, and regulate his life. Mike doesn't like buying dog food because it's another thing to keep track of, and it interferes with his busy lifestyle. Joan, being a mom and having a high-power job, cares about the health of her kids and her pets. Her dog deserves the best of the best, but she doesn't have time to keep researching ways to keep her dog healthy. She loves using the internet and is always trying to find the most reliable service. Joan, Mike, and David represent the ways in which different consumers could benefit from a subscription pet food service. As dog owners, they contribute to the huge growth in the U.S. market for pet food and supplies. The pet food market is growing, and so is the amount of people that are willing to spend money on pet food in the United States. Dry dog food makes up 22% of the market, and people are spending more and more on the very best for their pets. The potential for my service is huge. The number of dogs in the U.S. is over 70 million and growing fast, and there are plenty of dog owners like Joan, Mike, and David out there in search of ways to save time and money when buying their dog food. So how does Labrador work? When a customer signs up for Labrador, they tell me the age, weight, breed, activity status, and size of their dog. I'm in the process of creating an algorithm that uses this information to compute serving size based on these criteria. Once the customer enters their billing information and shipping information, they never have to worry about buying dog food again. If any of this information changes, Labrador is happy to create a new meal plan. So a subscription service business model should save the customer time, money, and effort. Labrador is looking to partner with a manufacturer and use their line of products to create a new brand of dry dog food that is standardized and familiar to our customers. Why is Labrador profitable? We want to source pet food at a competitive price point and charge the customer for shipping, the cost of the food, and a percentage service fee that goes to Labrador. So I want Labrador's price point to be competitive, so determining the service fee will take time and input from potential customers. We want to change the way people think about pet food by cutting out wholesalers and big box retailers and by taking advantage of the manufacturer's pricing. By rebranding our pet food and reaching our market a different way, we create a service that would be profitable for manufacturers interested in supplying us with their line of products. But what about our competition? Well, our competition offers something called auto ship delivery. It's very common. And this service allows customers to select their own delivery times and gives them savings on shipping and product prices. The problem with this service is that it leaves the meal plan up to the customer. AutoShip, however, represents a push that many pet food companies are making to fill the gap in the distribution processes of their products. So these companies are recognizing the modern consumer and looking to compete with retailers like Amazon Subscribe and Save. So in the near future, I want to make this product a reality by designing a web interface for customers and developing a brand around Labrador. I'm also looking for manufacturers to team up with. I want to thank Mr. Bacali, Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Crair, Mr. Glassman for their continued support of my idea. I also want to thank Noun Project and Slides Carnival for presentation resources. Great. So could Mr. Bacali and Mr. Sweeney please come up to the stage?
If I'm understanding this right, your key distinctiveness is the algorithm that you're going to develop, which you said you're going to rely on manufacturers to partly supply. Is that correct?
So my goal here is I'm creating an algorithm that takes the information about your pet and turns it into a customized, custom tailored meal plan for that specific dog. So actually, nobody has come up with a way to do this yet, and that's actually kind of a shame because veterinarians do this on a daily basis, and it's based on a few equations that basically take the activity status, the weight, the size of your dog, and they basically you plug all those into a few equations that actually are supplied by Waltham, I guess is they deal with, like, and then you divide it by the calorie count. It's a system of equations, and so basically that will tell you for any dog food for any dog what is the optimal serving size per day.
I mean, what are they trying to optimize? I mean, is this a least cost formula to provide the right level of nutrition and calories based upon activity and size and weight and all that?
Yes, so it's trying to find the most nutritious and best serving size for your dog, and then I'm going to send out the dog food in a perfect portion.
Have you tested this? I mean, it sounds too perfect. I mean, the algorithm is going to provide this for this specific dog based upon this limited input, and your algorithm, which you're going to develop.
Yes.
And I assume that then the customer is going to realize that this is the perfect formula for the dog, if he does. So what's the feedback mechanism to make sure that you get a gauge on the customer satisfaction with your algorithm?
So I'm basically running off the same stuff that veterinarians use to determine the best portion for their dog every day. I mean, I guess based on this information, the customer will be satisfied almost all the time. There could be an exception with a specific dog having an issue, and then I could just redo the meal plan with a different type of food. That's what, yeah.
Hudson, nice job. I liked your graphics.
Thank you.
Have you thought about going directly to a food manufacturer, a pet manufacturer, and selling your concept?
Yes, I have thought about that. I would kind of like to turn it into a service, but I think that, I've thought about that.
And I think the reason I say that is because your assumption is that you can get better pricing directly from the manufacturer. And if that assumption is not true, your value proposition is shot. So you might think, like, twist the model around and go to the manufacturers or give them something that they would have to buy from you, almost like intellectual property that you're selling to them, and then that they can then use it. So Purina can this is Purina's value proposition now.
Yeah. So I've only thought about that, and I've thought about, what would make this valuable for a manufacturer to give me better prices. Is that what you're asking about? Like, why
Yeah,
would
it's
why would
either
they-
one or the other.
Yeah. What would incentivize them to give me a better price than the next guy? And I have to actually go around, and I'm gonna have to do extensive research in the market. I'm gonna have to do extensive market research and research about my target customers in order to basically come up with data that's gonna give them enough to help me rebrand their products and give me their products to use. Yeah.
Hi, folks. I'm Andrew Hallowell. I've been co-mentor along with Mr. Leon Sun, who's sitting back here for Yulong. And we're very excited to be here supporting him today. Yulong has great entrepreneurial instincts. I think he has a great sense of his market and market demands. And I think he's got strong business sense and a technical know-how that he can use to make this all work. So I'm very excited to present Yulong. And Yulong, take it away.
Great build-up.
Great build-up. Go, yeah.
Hello, my name is Yulong. A junior from Spencer Chestnut Hill Academy. Today, I'm going to tell you how learning overseas just got easier. So, 300,000 Chinese students in America right now. Think about that. I'm one of them. Take it from me. It's extremely hard to study in a new academic environment, in a new country, in a new language. Furthermore, those students have limited access to the tutors who understand their backgrounds, their culture, and their language. As you can see here, no academic transition and no tutors equals an F. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce, for the first time, Avla.edu, the first ever tutoring platform specifically for Chinese overseas students. Basically, we connect the elite students from top colleges or graduate school to those Chinese overseas students who need academic support. So what does it look like? We actually built the product already. As you can see here, here's our index that you can search any subject that you want to be helped with and typing and click the search button, and then we'll show you a list of tutors. And you can click their name, and you will enter into a profile page that shows their subject they're teaching, and also their rates and students' comments. So here is what does it look like in the classroom. As you can see, on the right side, tutors and students can see and talk to each other. And on the middle, there's a whiteboard that tutors and students can share and co-edit the documents. So as I said, Avla.edu contains 5 components: online video audio streaming, online whiteboard, co-editing, screen sharing. In addition to this, we also provide a flexible way that students can pay whatever minute they spend with the tutors. Also, we aim to build the student community in the world that connect the Chinese overseas student in the world. So right now I want to talk about my target audience. Right now our target audience will be mainly those Chinese overseas students in America, and also the domestic Chinese student in China. In the future, we're gonna expand our market. Will be in those countries where it has large population of Chinese overseas students, like Canada, England, and Australia. So our target audience in specific will be those who have poor language skill, experience the hard communication with English speakers who just came to America, and who need academic support, or those who just feel boring about the school's courses. They want to learn more advanced materials like AP courses, and also those prospective Chinese students in China who just want to study abroad. Avila EDU actually has a great market. As you can see here, the Chinese overseas student population grows so rapidly in recent 5 years. Until 2015, there's almost 35% of Chinese students over all the international students in America right now. And almost 300,000 Chinese students, which makes the Chinese student the biggest overseas student population in America. So our competitors actually check Wisen and the face-to-face tutoring. So I want to talk about the check first. The check actually is right now is the biggest tutoring. It's the biggest education company in America right now. And it has a wide array of students. However, they're only limited to those who are proficient in English. And also, they have a really high rate, which you have to pay $60 per hour. And face-to-face traditional tutoring actually has a lot of limitations. That tutors have inflexible time, inflexible place, and also they're limited subjects. They have limited subjects. And as you know, traditional tutoring are really expensive. They are almost higher than $60 per hour, including their traveling fee. So Avila EDU is specifically designed for the Chinese overseas students. Since the tutors are all Chinese, so there's no language barrier between. Also, we're gonna provide the flexible, as I said before, we're gonna provide the flexible way for students to pay whatever minute spent with the tutors, and it's only $25 per hour. We're also gonna provide various subjects from algebra to AP courses. So we did a brief survey over 155 Chinese students. Almost 80% of students said yes, they would try our product, which we think our product is actually a feasible solution. So in 3 years, we aim to get 10,000 Chinese students and tutors as our users, and almost 2,500 trading volumes per day. And we would take 50% trading volume as revenue, which will make $375 per day, and a year will be almost $140,000. So our spending will mainly on the survey, teacher and student incentives, and advertisement. Sum them up, it will be $40,000 per year. We subtract the spending estimate, which we will get like $100,000 per year. So here's our plan. In the future, we're going to recruit more people for our team and establish the policy and a well-developed business plan. And we're going to also test out the market. Specifically, thanks for Mr. Glassman, Mr. Hallowell, and Mr. Sun, and Mr. Career, who helped me with this project. And here's my email. If you have some question, feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Charles, I have a question for you. How many different ventures have you tried in the incubator?
Actually, 3. This is the third one. It's my third year.
And I remember all of them, and I remember the one that was very similar to Andrew Kramer's.
It's last year's.
Which you had a little bit different twist. It was more on athletics locally. But I want to tell you that this is your best presentation so far, and I can tell you've worked hard on it, and you've given a lot of thought to it. And I'm not going to ask you any specific questions about your presentation, but I want to just give you kudos for trying and trying and trying again until so just keep doing that, and you'll hit it out of the park on one of these ventures. So keep doing the good work.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think the greatest trait for the entrepreneur is the perseverance.
Totally agree.
Excellent presentation. In terms of the advice to give you to hone this and take this to the next level, is that one of the unique things that you have is that it seems that you have a product fully built out now. So one of the things you can do that's going to help blow this out of the water is really, where's the data for the usage thus far? So how many people do you have signed up? How many tutors are signed up? Have you generated revenue yet, or are you just beta testing at this point? Because that data is really what can easily push you over the edge to get that initial investment that you need in order to start on that trajectory to get towards those profits. I would also say your financial model, it definitely needs honing, and so understanding exactly what you can charge, how you're going to charge it, particularly if you're doing you're not going to do a per hour model, you're going to do this sort of per minute model. Does that allow you to get greater margins, right? So answering some of those questions, or by doing it a per minute model, or is that going to allow for you to have more tutors on your platform? What advantage does that create? Or should you just stick with the per hour model? If you can't prove why the per minute model works on the financial end, then it probably would be a better idea to think about just starting with the traditional hourly model and then baking in the minute model later.
Yeah, thank you. Since we're in a really early stage right now, so we kind of need more think about the business plan, like what I said before, and also gonna think about, because the paying minute, it's actually a pretty new, pretty new mode of paying. So I would just test it out, but I think it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I do as well. Thanks.
Yeah, my comments along the same lines, that testing this out and making sure these numbers are real is just so critical. I would ask the question as to whether or not the amount you're paying for the tutors is sufficient. I think you had $20,000 for tutors and something else. Seems very low to me. And whether or not the distance between the number you quoted from one of your competitors at $60 an hour and $25 an hour, whether you need to be that inexpensive. My guess is your costs are too low and your prices are also too low. And the only way you'll be able to find that out is talk to a lot of people, really get behind your competitors, and do some testing. Take an area and see what happens.
Yeah, because we did a brief survey about how much price that people want, and almost a lot of people sell around 25 and 30, and I talked to several tutors and they said it's reasonable price. In the future, maybe we will do more investigation about how much should we actually set the price. Yeah, still have a lot of things to do, but right now it's actually in a really early stage.
Great. Well, you're off to a great start. Good job. Okay, 2 more presentations to go tonight. And, I had a question. One more question before our next presentation.
Have you thought about how to solicit reputable tutors, and what kind of rating service, for the students? on the site, if there is one?
The reputable tutors. So our tutors basically are they elite students from the top colleges like Harvard or UPenn. Actually, we're gonna interview the tutors and see their transcripts and their do they teach that specific subject, and we're gonna develop a whole system to make sure our tutors is really qualified. And our students rates is we use a 5-star system that after each class the student can give the teacher a rate, and if the student give a really low rate, we're gonna to find out why does it happen. So we basically we really care about the user experience. So if the tutors get a really low rate, we're gonna talk to the tutors. If the tutor is not really qualified, we're gonna not let him do the service again.
Nice job.
Thanks.
Lisa and Cindy, are you ready to present? Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenn Eulendorf, and I'm a member of the SCH Tech team here. And I was fortunate enough to be able to work with Lisa and Cindy. They tackle a problem that we all have gone through with the only thing that I love more than technology, and that would be food. The answer that they provide to the issue that they face is rather creative, exciting, and frankly amazing, considering that they came to this solution while working on a combined 9 AP exams. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Lisa and Cindy.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa.
And I'm Cindy.
Today we are here to introduce you to our venture, which is called Feast.
Feast, Food Your Life. So as foreign students, we have strong interest in exploring new culture, especially food, since food is a huge part of Chinese people's daily life. However, a lot of times, the restaurant or food that our American friends recommend to us don't work because we have different dining habits and eating culture. And there's really like limited resources online or in real life to help people like us, foreigners, to find our ideal American restaurant. And that's why we have Feast.
So basically, Feast is an online platform that introduces American food and American restaurants to Chinese-speaking populations. Currently, we have 2 types of posts on our platform, which are Philly food and Feast and Fun food. Philly food includes feedbacks on dishes, environment, and also interesting stories about the restaurant that we interview, whereas Fun food includes the interesting food articles. So for example, one of the posts we have is about what dog food tastes like. How does Feast work? We narrow down our process to 3 steps, which are visit, write, and publish. First, visit. We get the restaurant that we want to interview on by our Feast followers, online ranks, and also friends' recommendations. So here you can see is a picture of the recommendations from our Feast followers. And then we narrow down the list by looking at the restaurant's website to see if that's the kind that would interest our Feast followers, and also by looking at the online menus of the restaurant. So here is a flowchart that shows how Feast work. First, we contact the owner of the restaurant to set up an appointment. And then we take pictures of the restaurant, of like not only the food, but also the environment of the restaurant. Then we try the recommended dishes, and then we interview the owner of the restaurant and ask him or her questions such as why did he or she open this restaurant? Are there any interesting stories behind? And if we can get a discount for our Feast followers. Then we write our posts based on the feedbacks. So here is a picture of one of our posts. So you can see here that we not only include feedback on the food of the restaurant, but also on the environment of the restaurant. We publish our posts on WeChat, which is a Chinese social media app. This is for followers who prefer to read posts on their phones, and also for followers who have WeChat. And here is a preview of the WeChat version of our posts. And also we publish our posts on our website. We are currently still building our website, and this is for followers who prefer to read the posts online.
Target audience. Our venture is for all ages because everyone loves food. And currently we have two types of target audiences. The first one is Chinese-speaking population in the US, because right now we're only writing our reviews in Chinese. This includes Chinese Americans, Chinese exchange students, and Chinese tourists. The second type of our target audience is people living in China who are interested in food, because we're not only posting American restaurant reviews, but also interesting food articles. In the future, we will expand Feast. We're gonna publish in different languages, so people all around the world can find their ideal exotic food by Feast. For example, a Japanese traveling to France can find their ideal French cuisine by Feast from our by looking at a French cuisine review from a Japanese perspective. And here are some statistics about our market. There are about 4 million Chinese Americans and about 300,000 Chinese exchange students in the US. And in 2014, the Chinese tourist arrival to the US has reached 2 million. These data shows that we have a huge potential market. And we have two major competitors. The first one is Yelp. Compared to Yelp, our advantages are that our reviews are more Chinese culturally oriented. We know what our customers like and what they want. And our reviews are also more holistic. We have details information such as the menu, the decoration, and traffic. This allows our readers to have a better understanding of the restaurants. And also our reviews are more appealing. We are writing our review in a storytelling way. The other competitor is 大众点评. 大众点评 is a Chinese version Yelp. Compared to 大众点评, our advantage is that we are located in America, and there's like no American restaurants on 大众点评. So 大众点评 is basically useless in the US.
We've achieved a lot since we initiated this venture in March. So far, we have 11 posts. We have more than 500 views of each post, and we have about 400 subscribers on WeChat. So here is a picture that shows some of our posts on WeChat. The middle one you can see is a review on Green Egg Cafe that's located in downtown. And the bottom right one, that's the one with like the dog picture on it. It's the one that I previously mentioned is about what dog food tastes like.
And right now we have two major problems. The first one is that we need to find a way to reduce our cost. And the second one is that we need to figure out whether Feast is a nonprofit or profit venture. The solutions to our problems is that for right now, Feast is going to be nonprofit. We just want to expand our influences and attract as many customers as possible. However, in the future, we're going to make profits. And our profits come from commercial partnership with the restaurants and also publishing revenue. And here's the timeline of our venture. As you can see, for this year, 2016, we just want to attract subscribers and expand our influences. And starting from next year, we're going to establish partnership with the restaurants and gaining publishing revenues.
In the future, we want to open a bill split feature on our platform so that followers of Feast can find mates to eat at the same restaurant through our platform. This way they can and also they can post their feedbacks on our platform. So this way they can not only reduce their costs, but also make new friends. And in addition, they can also get the chance to try more dishes. This is like a restaurant version of Airbnb. We would like to thank our mentor, Mr. Eulendorf and Ms. Schwartz, and also Mr. Glassman and Ms. Krieger for all the help. Without all the help from you guys, we would not be able to come this far. Thank you so much. And here is our QR code. And also you can reach us via this email address, which is fiddlyfist@163.com. And we have a gift for our mentor, Mr. Eulendorf. And we also have a thank you card for Mr. Glassman and Ms. Courier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's really sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Prayer's interviewing one of those
Okay.
students. Okay, questions for Lisa and Cindy? Silence microphone. Anything in the audience?
In terms of, you say you want to be non-profit and then maybe longer-term profit, who's going to fund the activity until you get to full profit?
Right now, we're like paying on our own, but we like try to reduce our cost. Right now, we're just like doing a bill split with our friends. Like we invite people who are also interested in the restaurant that we're gonna write reviews about to go with us, so we can like split the bill.
Do you confident you can make money at this?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure about America, but at least in China, the food articles and food media are really popular. Like I think there's more than there are a lot of official accounts just like us on WeChat, and like some of the big one, they have more than 1 million subscribers, and they do a lot of commercial partnership with the restaurants.
Yeah, as long as we have like enough subscribers on our WeChat, we can do like advertisement on our platform. So this way we can make profit.
Here's a question I wanted to ask you this whole time. Did you try dog food and write an article about it?
No, our friends did.
Who's your friend that did that?
From outside school.
It's crazy. All right, time for one last question before we go to our last presentation. Anybody?
Yeah, well, feedback. I like that you all are taking the perspective of doing and not just sitting in a room ideating around business models and like the feasibility of how much you're going to make. I think that's going to be very important very soon. But I would encourage you to continue what you're doing because you're learning a lot about who your potential customers could be, particularly not just the people who are writing the reviews, but the restaurants themselves who will eventually pay you to create this great content that you're doing. You said something during the presentation that was like a quick sentence though. I don't know if you all recognize how genius maybe this could be, but eventually you said it's like the Airbnb for food, right? There it is. Like that might be the moneymaker. In terms of how you presented this today, I'm sure it's not going to be clear to any investor how this is going to eventually make money and get beyond like a passion project that you all are just really interested in. So in terms of thinking about the feasibility of this as a business, that's what you're going to have to hone in on. And I challenge you to think about how you do that while not thinking about giving up this following that you intend to build. Because it costs a lot of money to build out followings, right? A lot of people have great products, but they don't necessarily know how they're ever going to get to customers. You're not going to have to do that work on the back end. You're going to have the people you want to sell to, but what are you going to sell is the question you're going to have to answer.
Thank you.
Okay, it's time for our last presentation of the evening. Thanks for sticking with us. I know this has gone a little long, but I hope you've been as wowed and impressed as I've been by these amazing students who have really put themselves out there. How about one round of applause just for everyone who's presented today? It's been so wonderful. Andrew and Eric are our last presenters, and they're also the only seniors in our program. For those of you who aren't aware, senior year is usually a year where kids stop caring about school. I'm joking, kind of. But these guys have come in here every day, even during their senior project month, and spent time crafting this brand, Nantucket Stripe Company. They've been in our design lab building prototypes of their accessories, and they've done a lot of really interesting work. I'm excited for you all to hear about this last presentation, Nantucket Stripe Company. Boys, take it away.
Hello, my name's Andrew, and I'm Eric. And we're both seniors here at SCH, as Mr. Glassman said. But more importantly, we're the founders and creators of Nantucket Stripe Company, a nautically inspired accessories and apparel company.
So Nantucket, meaning faraway place, is a small island off the coast of Massachusetts. It's famously known through the whaling industry, especially in the 18th century, but more recently, it's a very notorious vacation spot.
So to us, Nantucket, it's a very exciting and inviting place where you can go and relax on the beach or go sail in the Atlantic. And while you're walking down the cobblestone road, you're just overwhelmed with feelings of happiness, tranquility, sublimity, and excitement. Like when you're here, you never want to leave.
Picture this. We're sitting in our backyard on a bright July sunny day with a couple of our friends just talking about how our summers are going. We all had bought bracelets actually that day, bracelets that were sold in Nantucket, and we kind of talked about how they weren't really that great in terms of quality, but also intrinsic value. So naturally, we decided that we wanted to make our own bracelet company that had the essence, or carried the essence that Nantucket was. So from then on, we started putting together sketches and started making prototypes. And this is also like nothing else that we've done, or anyone's done. So we want our bracelets to kind of be a reminder of your personal Nantucket, of the Nantucket that you go off to for vacation or the summer, something that keeps you a reminder during your daily life. So the whaling industry had actually reduced the population down to 360,000 in the world of the sperm whale population. And last summer, there was actually a beach whale on Nantucket, and it died. And I thought this was like very sad because obviously animals shouldn't really die. But also, I found out that because of I was very interested. So after doing research, like I said, I found out that the population actually diminished significantly over the past 200 years. And I think this is something that should be kind of cared for.
For this reason, we want to donate 5% of all our proceeds of bracelets that we sell to Marine Conservation Institute, which supports marine wildlife and conservation marine wildlife. And what makes this different is that our bracelets were, as Eric said, better capture the spirit of Nantucket. We're the only brand of all our competitors that donate a percentage of our proceeds to a good cause, that being the marine wildlife. And we are authentic Nantucket. Our product is more than just a bracelet. It's the island of Nantucket wrapped around your wrist.
So we were looking for mainly high school students and up, those ages, so around 13 or 14 13 and 14-year-olds and up to purchase our bracelets. And they would live in mid to upper class homes, have interests in activities such as sailing, going to the beach, fishing, anything really nautically activity-wise. And they would also be interested in products made in the United States, because that's what we're hoping for, as well as marine wildlife. And we found out that through one of our competitors, Tucker Blair, who's also a bracelet company, the size of goods sold, or the market margin, was around $100 million. So we thought that this was kind of not something that we would necessarily run into problems making money, because obviously that's a lot of money. So, and one issue that we kind of ran into was here we couldn't really limit our target market based on like a number based on interests specifically. So we did a kind of like a sample here, a bias sample, obviously, students here at SCH, and we found out that very high number said that they would rather buy a bracelet that was made in America, as well as a bracelet that was associated with the beach and where you vacation to.
Here's Mike. Mike loves to vacation in Nantucket and does so every summer, but he doesn't have anything that represents the island that he's come to love. So in buying our bracelet, he found about Nantucket Strike Company on island, and he loves to show everyone his bracelet he loves to show everyone his bracelet to better reflect himself and his vacationing to Nantucket, and it represents him and where he loves the vacation.
So here are a few prototypes that we've made specifically, but next week we're actually going to have better prototypes being made through our manufacturer. So as I said before, 5% of all the proceeds of the bracelets that we sell will go to the Marine Conservation Institute. We are currently developing a prototype with a manufacturer in Massachusetts right now, and we'll get that by next week this time. We want to start selling as soon as possible and produce as many as 500 bracelets and see where that takes us and go from there. Our very rough quote was $10 to $15 to make one bracelet. Once again, once we get a final set prototype, a set product, then we'll be able to get a more direct price. But we want to sell, from this price, we want to sell for $60 to $70 markup. So we face competitions with companies such as Lemon and Lime, KJP or Kill James Patrick, and Tucker Blair. And they all use social media outlets to kind of get their name out there. So that's what we want to do as well. We want to use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat as possible means to expand our company. And we also want to use ambassadors through word of mouth to show off our product and kind of show how people who wear these bracelets kind of live this certain lifestyle. But like also our prototype or our bracelets are going to be something that's never really been made before. Seersucker, like cloth fabric, stitched to leather is not very something you see ever. So that's how we kind of like differentiate ourselves from them. So eventually we want to expand not only from Nantucket, but Northeast United States, and hopefully throughout the country using a website to buy goods or buy our bracelets from, so it's easier to access. And we also want to open up our own store to sell these bracelets and expand to other lines of clothing, like other accessories and shorts, pants. So we can also further expand our donations to marine wildlife as well.
Special thanks to our mentor, Amanda Dahl, Mr. Glassman, Mr. Carrere, Mr. Pavere, and many of those else that have helped us through our endeavor. At this time, we'd like to ask Amanda to come up and accept the gift. Any questions?
What's going to be great about what you all are doing is that accessories, particularly men's accessories, like it's booming, it's growing year over year, and it's very high margin. Right? It doesn't create a lot, doesn't take a lot of material to create what you all are doing. So if you're able to feasibly sell this at $60, $70 per unit, you can achieve a lot of margin, even if you're donating that 5%, or even if you want to do 10% to the Marine Conservatory, you can sell those first 500 bracelets, what methods are you going to use to get people to buy and to reach 500 of the example target customer, Adam, or whatever his name was? How are you going to reach 500 Adam? It's going to be very, very important. And then really honing in on who your target market is and understanding that. Because at the end of the day, this is a fashion business, in a sense, a style business. So you're going to need to understand apparel. You're going to need to understand wholesaling. You're going to need to understand your margins very well because your margins are going to make or break your business. And so have those questions, and you answered a lot of the questions, but you want to be able to do it in a very, very precise way, in a way that, you know, is right at the top of it. So kudos to what you guys are doing, and I think you all can take your summer as well to come back where really, you know, as you, wherever you're going off, whether that be college, wherever, you can start selling bracelets this summer now, and it shouldn't be a problem for you to start generating revenue. Because I think that the thing that's going to impress investors most is what's your traction on revenue. That's going to trump everything else.
Yeah, thank you. We like you said, those are things we're actually really working on to kind of narrow down. And this summer, we actually are going to Nantucket because we go every summer, and that's somewhere where we're hoping to start selling our bracelets if they're going to be made. But that's something we need to work out with our manufacturer. But I agree, like those things that we really need to work on, and that's something kind of that we've been talking about ever since we started this, is like kind of the details and the small things that really matter. And I think that's kind of something that we really have to work on. So thank you.
The next piece is like, what are your channels? Are you going to be exclusively online? Are you going to go to trade shows? Are you going to sell on the Nantucket Island? Like, where exactly are you going to find customers consistently?
Yeah.
Thought for consideration is check out Tom Scott and Tom First, who started Nantucket Actors. They built on the theme of Nantucket many years ago. So they might be interesting and probably willing to take a phone call.
My question was similar. It seems like you're focusing on Nantucket. Does this, just on the bracelets before you expand, you mentioned expansion of other fashion accessories later, but on the bracelets, so are we just talking about the market being people that love Nantucket? Or people, you start out by talking about people that have a wider lifestyle in terms of outdoor yachting, etc. But if then your name is Nantucket and your design is Nantucket colors, so to me that's a very limited market. Bracelets for people, men in Nantucket that want to wear bracelets and want to just play Nantucket. I don't know.
Yeah,
500, if that's the market, I would think it'd be very challenging.
Yeah. So basically, what we're trying to get with Nantucket is people, through our experiences, people have a place where they love and they travel and they return every summer and love the vacation there. It's giving someone like basically that idea to have with them, like to be with them in their life every day. So something that represents them.
The question is that a large enough market in bracelets to justify getting $565 a pop? We want to find out.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we need to kind of think about and take time to think about. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for sticking with us, everyone. That was a wonderful demo day. We appreciate your time. Could I ask all the students and mentors who are still here with us to come to the front so we can take a group photo? And for the rest of you, thank you for coming and have a wonderful summer.